everybody, I'm Joey. You're watching My Slice of Heaven Outdoors. Tonight I'm going to show you a recipe that we use, that we cook every Christmas Eve. Stuffed green peppers. This recipe uses venison, provolone cheese, a little bit of quinoa rice mixture, and we'll put that all together and stuff it inside peppers. So stay tuned, come along and see how we prepare this meal. Alright, I'm glad you're still here. Like I said, we're going to be making venison stuffed peppers, and I want to show you some of the ingredients that we will be using. We will be using 2 pounds of ground venison. We'll be using some rosemary, which we'll chop up in a bit. We'll be using red and green peppers, trying to stay in the theme of Christmas. We'll be using some minced garlic, which is right here. We'll be using some quinoa brown rice mixture. Just some kind of tomato sauce. We happen to be using onion and garlic flavor tonight. And we usually use provolone cheese, but I messed up and bought mozzarella instead. I've never used mozzarella before. I've always used provolone, but for some reason I picked up the wrong one. We're also going to be using salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So the first thing you want to do, you want to get you a large pot going. Don't mind that dirt spot on my stove there. You want to get a large pot going with boiling water, a little bit of salt. That's going to be to soften up your bell peppers. The back burner is the quinoa rice mixture. Just prepare it however the directions say on the box. We will be browning the ground venison in a skillet. All right, first thing we're going to do is add a little bit of olive oil to the hot pan. And then a little bit of diced or minced garlic. Yep, just a little. And then we're going to add the ground venison. And I just cut the bag open and just break it up a little bit. We'll break it up more with a spoon as we're cooking it. And I'm going to work on the ground beef, and I'll come back to you when that's ready. To get the peppers ready, we want to try to make the top even all the way across. And I just run the knife around the inside to cut the white ribs or whatever you want to call them. And then I just give it a twist and pull it out. Now you still have to reach in there a little bit and cut those white ribs off. Try not to poke holes in your peppers. Then just pop out the middle stem of your green pepper and chop these up in little pieces, because we're going to be putting these in our venison mixture. Make them kind of small. And you can just throw these right in the venison mixture as it's cooking. Alright, and I'm going to do about 12 of these tonight. So we're going to make 12 peppers tonight. And I'll get back to you after I'm ready to start blanching the peppers. And guys, when you buy these peppers, you want to try to find the biggest peppers you can find. And you also want to be able to have them stand up on their own. Like I said, we're making 12 peppers. That's because there's going to be 6 of us here tonight. So I'm making 2 peppers per person. Now we all won't eat 2 peppers, so we'll have a couple left over to put in the fridge. And I'm sure after you stuff these, if you didn't want to eat them tonight or you want to make a few extras, you could probably stick them in the freezer. Of course, you'd have to wait for them to cool down before you could stick them in the freezer, but I don't see no reason why you couldn't do that. And I'll be back with you after I get a couple of these peppers done. Alright, our next step is we're going to be putting 4 peppers at a time in this pot of boiling water which has salt in it. And we're going to leave them in there until they're soft. Should take about 3 to 5 minutes. Start checking them after about 3 minutes. You don't want to get them too soft that they fall apart. You still want them to be firm so they finish cooking in the oven. Alright guys, we're going to chop up some of this rosemary and just pull the leaves the opposite direction that they're going, and they should come right off the stem. Keep pushing it up on a pile and it will chop easier. And what you want to do is you wanted to put half of this in your venison mixture, the other half in your quinoa mixture. Alright, what we're going to do next is put when your rice and your quinoa is finished cooking and your venison's finished cooking, just mix them together. Oh, this smells really good. And as always guys, I'll leave the directions or instructions or recipe in the description. And I don't know if I told you or not about the rice and quinoa, but I always try to get the rosemary olive oil blend. They have several different kinds of blends, but that's the one I like. But quinoa brown rice, the rosemary and olive oil flavor, that's the kind I like. But there's other flavors. You can experiment with the other flavors if you like, but I just like the rosemary one. And I'm going to put about a half a jar for now in this quinoa venison mixture. We're going to give that a mix up. Just gonna put a little bit more. You don't want it soupy, you just want it to have the tomato sauce flavor in there too. Right, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Right, take the peppers, I'll set them in a tin full pan, or if you got a big baking dish, you can use a baking dish. We usually have plenty of these foil pans sitting around. And hopefully get 12 of them in here. Yeah, I'll make them fit. I'm going to let them cool down for a second, and then I'll come back and we'll start stuffing them. Alright, our next step is we're going to take the provolone cheese, put it in the bottom of the peppers, kind of like a little cup, just run it up on the sides. That will help hold in your sauce so it doesn't leak out the bottom if there's any holes in your peppers. And after you get the cheese in, you want to just fill up each pepper about halfway. Some of them are a little bit more fuller than the other ones, but roughly about halfway. That one's a little fuller than halfway, but we'll make it work. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to put a little bit of tomato sauce in each one. Not too much. You just don't want the meat mixture to dry out in the oven, which it shouldn't anyway, but This will make sure it doesn't. And then we're going to fill them the rest of the way up with the venison quinoa mixture. Make sure you really stuff it in there without breaking the peppers. And I said earlier that this is roughly I made 2 peppers per person, but not everybody's going to eat 2 because these are pretty big, pretty filling. But they are good. They smell so good right now. And the next step will be to put another piece of cheese over the top. You can actually at this point put a little bit more sauce on them too. And then we put a piece of provolone cheese over the top. Guys, that is it. Goes in the oven right now at 400 degrees. And we'll leave it in there about 20 minutes and everything should be done. Alright guys, timer's been up. It's been 20 minutes.
Alright. Yes, sir.
And the peppers are looking good. They're done. It's been 20 minutes and they are looking so good and they smell delicious too. Let's take them out and put them on the table. Well guys, that's it for this recipe. I hope you enjoyed watching me make it because I enjoyed cooking it and I know the family enjoys eating it. If you have any questions about this recipe, please feel free to leave comments below. The recipe will be in the description and I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you all. Have a great day. See y'all next time.